Hello and welcome back to Haven and Hearth. It's been a bit of time. I've been kind of doing some farming. I have been slowly leveling up my masonry skill. Let's take a look. Yeah, we got the ability to get up to 30 now. All right, that is good because I don't need my masonry skill dragging down anything further than we absolutely have to. Now, I do have a bit of additional hemp because, as you can see, I've kind of moved it over there, and I now have enough that I can make a piece of hemp cloth. It's not going to be super great, but it is what it is. Hemp cloth, 6 hemp fibers, which is worse than the linen, which is only 5 flax fibers, but here we go. And that'll unlock a bunch of stuff that requires cloth, just as soon as it's done. There we go. We ended up with quality 28. Most of that was, due to, our, was this, quality 33 loom. So, alright, we're going to just kind of stick this in there. No need to really mess with that too much at the moment. I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way. And as we can see, we have the possibility of a hemp tablecloth. We have, a bunch of other stuff here that has opened the seed bag. That's relatively new. I'm surprised that's actually in this version. Hemp pants. Hemp shirt. Quilted wadding, which is plus dex and plus sewing. Gonna have to do that at some point, just to make ourselves a sewing set. Of course, the cloth pocket. What do we got here? Oh, of course, the sackcloth cloak. Yeah, nothing too big, but we have additional clothing options. There is also some building stuff. The wardrobe unlocked. That's good. The cloth, the actual sturdy bed. We're nowhere near that, but it is useful. There's like some stools and some chairs and things of that nature. Nothing I really want to get into right now. What I do want to do is empty out our coal because I kind of forgot that we needed to do that. Alright, so we got quality 28 coal, which isn't too terrible. We're going to get this set to the side here, but it's going to take just a couple of minutes here to kind of get this all done. Now, we have all of this ore, and we have a bunch of coal. So obviously, it is time to start getting ourselves access to metal. We're going to need to build a stack furnace for that, which I will look at just a second here, as soon as we've kind of cleared our inventory of this first batch of coal, which we're almost there. There we go. Let's kind of do that, and we'll just kind of stick you there for the moment. There we go. Alright, so buildings, furnace, stack furnace. Hey, hey. Alright, so 15 clay, 10 stone, 2 boards, 4 blocks, 2 leather. And it's just a little thing like that. Now, this is not what we're going to use in the long term, but, because we can't make iron with it. But all of this lead we have sitting around, and the tin that we have down in the mine, those will go just fine. So we're going to need to get this built. The real question is, how much effort do I want to put in it? Because we've got crappy clay, and we've got good clay. Do I want to use the good clay? My masonry skill will drag the quality on this down a little bit, but nowhere near as much as it would have before. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. We need what, 15? So that's going to be 3, 4, 5 stacks of that. And we can go ahead and just start there. Can I put this on the plains ground? Site is occupied by my fat ass. Nope. There we go. Okay, we can. Alright, let's get this clay in. And then we're going to need to find ourselves 10 stone, 2 boards, 4 blocks, etc., etc. Alright. So this should be all slag, right? Yeah, 95? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That looks like it'll be pretty darn good to me. Now, obviously, our boards and blocks are not going to be anywhere near this good. But we just kind of want to get this as good as we can because the quality of the furnace is going to affect the ore. Or, well, it'll affect the metal that comes out in the end. Right, I used the rest of that. So let's see, what is our next most high quality one of these? 17s? What about this over here? 22. You know what? There we go. I needed how many blocks? 4? Give me 4. That'll do. Only 22, but you know what? That's not super terrible. I am, unfortunately, going to have to deal with whatever boards I get out of that log, because it is not like I'm going to cut down one of these for any old random thing. Yeah, I came in here because I needed my saw. That's a 20 saw, which I believe is the saw that I've got. Alright. That is not... that is probably going to end up being our lowest quality thing. Here are the boards, and it was, what, 2? Alright, that's not too bad, I suppose. Not too bad, I suppose. Alright, make boards. Alright, quality 17. Yeah, that might be, unless the leather is way worse than I think it is, that's probably going to be the worst thing. Alright, here goes. Alright, and 2 leather. Well, we should have 4 in this thing here. Oh, it's 15, so I guess the leather will be the worst part of it. Well, let's see how it turned out. That is a neat-looking thing. Alright, quality 39. A far cry from the, 95 and 108 stone, but not too far off the 42 clay, so I guess that's not too bad. Alright, so, we've got the stack furnace. We've got, what is that, 18 spots? And enough for 30 fuel, which I think we need. I don't know, I was reading up on this in advance, because I don't often get to the point where I'm actually making metal, at least not personally. Usually that ends up being a thing where, I have someone else doing it for me. But it was saying, it said 15 to 30, fuel. I'm like, okay, well, which is it? So that was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That should be all the lead we can get in. So let's just go ahead and get this in while I'm giving this some thought. So this is all 42, which does mean the furnace is going to drag it down. Well, that 35 it won't. Yeah, see, there's a mix in here, so it'll be fine. And unfortunately, most of that is going to turn to slag. That's just how it is going to be. So I guess I could grab 15. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Because each one of the coal is 2 fuel. So I can pile that on up with that. There we go, that's all full. And I'm going to get this going. I kind of want to get this going as quickly as possible, because this is going to take about an hour in order to work. All right, we got our matches. And we can just get this started, like so. There we go. All right, I'm going to drink, because I need my stamina to do this. Get that fire a-going. Excellent. Now, that will last about 27 minutes, which is about half the time. It's not actually a full hour, but you can see there's the tiniest of slivers that has already started there. But yeah, we would have to leave it. I think that's why it said 15 to 30, is because this speeds it up by half. So I probably didn't need the full 30 in there, but we've got so much coal at the moment of such middling quality that I don't really care. So let's go ahead. We're going to put that back away because we don't need to make any more. Well, you know what? Let's keep that on me. Because I think I might want to get started on something. I'm not totally sure. No, not quite, because I want to get my masonry up to the full 42 to match the clay before I do that. It was a thought. It was a thought. All right, so we're going to put that away. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to clear out the rest of this charcoal just to kind of, get this ready to go again if I need to. Oh, I kept the matches in my inventory. Doesn't matter. And we're basically going to be waiting on the lead, and I hope that there is enough lead to actually do something with out of the end of this. So I will come back probably to this being finished. Although I might pop back in when it's time to use the bellows again. Who knows? We shall see, and I will be right back. Okay, we are back because the flames have died down. We're about halfway through, so that all seems to check out. Let's go ahead and get these flames going again. And it had been roughly a half hour, so the times that I was seeing are, pretty accurate as well. At least for this server, the newer, the 16.1 runs faster, so I assume that it would last not as long and things would take not as long. And there we go. We've got that going again. Okay, so it just ticked down as we saw, but it had only used 5 before, so I don't know how much this stuff is going to use. It might just vary based on the specific ore. That could possibly be a thing. I'm not sure. Anyway, this time I will be back once the ore finishes smelting or turning to slag, whichever it's going to end up doing. We'll be right back. Alright, this is almost done. As you can see, there's a tiny little sliver left, and I realized that I'm going to be able to do at least a second batch of this stuff. So I figured we should probably come over and grab another 18. Let's see, 369, 369. Yeah, that's 18. All right. Just so we can get this kind of going as soon as this stuff is done. Might take a minute or two, but that will give me a bit of an opportunity to talk about this. Now, there is obviously no guarantee that any of this is going to turn into lead. This could end up being an entire batch that just all goes to slag, which is annoying, but there are skills that will make it a little bit easier, I think. Let's see. I mean, I really do need mining. I probably should have saved some of the points for that. Oh, and yeah, I'm actually going to need that for the supports, which is what I'm going to want to use any of this that I actually get for. So, probably should hold on to some points here. How quickly am I going to get? Oh, it's not much longer on these. That's not bad. So we can come back to that. But mining will also unlock other things. Forging, I don't think... Nope, that's for finery forges. Glass blowing, jewelry... Does jewelry do anything? Precious metals, other fine materials. Yeah, it doesn't say. I think most of the other things that give any sort of bonus are behind mining, which would make a certain amount of sense. So we're going to have that. But let's go ahead. Let's just kind of start. Opening that up a little bit just so I'll be able to put stuff in. I should, when this is ready, be able to just shift right click and pull everything in here out into my inventory as long as there's space. And it will stack. Stuff will stack just kind of like this. I know the ore will at the very least. I believe the metal does as well. I'm not 100% on that one though. Like I said, I don't interact with metal a whole lot on my own. I usually rely on other people for that, but I'm getting into it this time around. Okay, here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, what do we see? 3, 4, 5, 6 of our 18 turned into lead. So let's go ahead and grab that. Bam, there we go. Excellent. We got 2 left, but that's okay. Let's just grab those. Hey, I said grab those. We're just gonna get this stuff out there. There we go. All right. So now we should be able to grab some of this and just kind of go, hey, like that, and throw you in, and actually I could probably do this. There we go. So now we have our 6 lead bars, and of course, we should have a few things. So houses and buildings. Oh yeah, the stonestead, and yeah, the stonestead is probably the thing that would be worthwhile there. Look at that. We could build the bigger house. What do we got here? Logistics, wagon station. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Let's see. What do we got? Linen. Oh, that's from learning the some of the other stuff. We got the metal cabinet. That could be a thing. Now we did end up getting some XP from that, so I think we have enough for mining. Yeah, we have enough for mining now. Let's buy that. There we go. Mine support. You see that new discovery mine support? Yeah, that's the thing we want. All right. Now, where is it? I believe it's in here. Yeah, there we go. Mine construction. Mine support. Now, this one is only... This one takes wood. Creates a safe radius around itself under which cave-ins will not occur when mining. So let's go ahead. And I don't think quality matters. So we can grab whatever the lowest quality one of these is. 17. I feel like that's probably it. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, there's a 12. Okay. And how many does it take? 16? Okay, that's a lot. It is 16 and 1 metal. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab this metal. I'm going to do this. We can stockpile it. Like so. And then we're going to just grab some blocks. Just grab however many I can to start. Now, there should be a stone version of this, but I don't know what I might be missing offhand. Because I have obviously discovered... Oh, let's get this bellows going. We want to make sure that that fire goes good and strong so we can get another batch done before the fuel runs out. Alright, there we go. Alright. And down into the mines. And of course, right over this way, I believe it was, this stuff here. So we're going to grab our little magnifying glass. Cassiterite. That is an ore. Wow, that's a lot of that. I say that is an ore that does... it basically becomes tin. As you can see, there is a mine support down here already, which I somehow missed. I don't remember that being there, but as you can see, it gives that radius. So if we want to, we could come right over here, perhaps. Yeah, let's go there. And we can start building another mine support. And as you can see, this guy over here is one of those stone ones. And I am not sure exactly what it is that I need to unlock to get the stone ones. But the stone ones have a bigger radius. Can I see? I believe there is a setting here. Let me see. Adventure, toggles. Display mine support radii. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, the radius on the stone one is bigger than the radius on the wood one. So the stone ones are generally better. I think they still only take one metal. Maybe they require a hard metal. That might be what the difference is. It's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head, because I've very obviously discovered stone. Oh, I can pick more of these mushrooms, which is good, because I need more curiosities. Because I have been kind of struggling with that. There we go, let's get that studying. What was this again? Oh, that's just one that is prepped to have more markings carved. But yeah, here we go. This allows us to see the radii on this regularly. And once we get that guy built, that'll be plenty of stuff to get that done. All right, let's get that done, I think. And then we can wrap up the episode. We might be a little bit short. But starting this work with metal is definitely the thing I wanted to do. So I'm going to finish building this mine support, and I'll come back as I end up adding in the last bits. Alright, I am down to the point where I need 2 more blocks and 1 bar of common metal, which the lead counts as. So, let's pop back up. And real quick like, bop right on over here. We'll grab 2 if there's 2. If not, we'll chop 1 more out. Yeah, there we go. And 1 bar of metal. 38. Good. I think that's one of the lower ones, because I remember seeing a couple of 40s as I had them in my inventory, so that's fine. Alright, let's head over here. And there we go. Now, obviously, we have a little bit of overlap. That's fine. One of the things we do need to note, now you can't, yeah, it might not be at the moment, but if you mine out a tile that would have collapsed, it will cause damage to the support. But you can just go and repair the support. So as long as you don't do anything too stupid, you can mine out without too much worry. Yeah, in fact, let's go ahead and see if we can't get a little bit of ore. Shall we? Right here, let's just go ahead. We are going to want to go adventure and mine, and right there. And if you want to see it, oh, the rock is slightly too hard for you. All right, but if you want to see it from this angle, it does select the tile like that. So what about over here? Okay, over here we've got it just fine. And it's going to take a bit. And it takes a lot of stamina to end up doing this, which ends up being energy and water. And we're going to see if we even make it through one of these. Because now, as my strength goes up, this will become easier. This will advance quicker. We'll be able to get some of these other tiles like this one that is, too hard for me to mine. It has a combination of the tool I use, which is just this 54 stone axe at the moment. Which, it's a good quality, so that helps. But being a stone axe, it only uses my strength. If I were to have an actual pickaxe, it goes in both hands and it uses strength and a half. So I'd probably be able to get that next tile if I had a pickaxe. We are not getting anything at the moment, and we're about to need to drink. Come on. You can do it. You can do it 9 times. No, wait, not that many. Come on. A little bit. And did we get anything? No. See, unfortunately, every time you complete a cycle, it just kind of does an internal damage tick to the tile. And it may or may not give you some of the stone, quote-unquote, that it is made of, or counts as stone. So you do have to be careful with have an ore in your inventory if you're going to do these paving. And what a lot of this paving is, I will bet, because it's the way it normally gets done, is mining without supports is kind of like a game of Minesweeper. There will be a visible thing that happens where it's like little particles raining down. If you mine out a tile that is next to a tile that will collapse. So what most people do is they then pave that tile if it happens, so that people know, hey, one of the other 8 tiles touching this is going to cause a collapse. And then you just kind of have to work around it or run a risk or put up a mine support so you don't have to worry about it. That would be, that's just the best option. But of course, you can't put up mine supports until you have metal in the first place, so you have to work around it. That's why finding that ore was such a good thing for us, is because somebody already went to the effort of getting the ore, so now I just had to, smelt it and discover the metal. Which does mean that for that instance, it was slightly... Oh, there we go, and now I've discovered this ore. Cassiterite. Hey, there we go, and it's quality 15, so it's not great quality, but that's fine. I think I will allow myself to run out of stamina here. In just a moment. It's not going to take much longer. I might finish one more cycle, but I definitely won't go beyond that. Yeah, I don't even think it's going to let me finish the cycle quite, because I'm out of water. We are getting to a point where it might be a good idea to upgrade our water, too. Because I think I have the stuff for that. That might be one final thing to do before we finish. Oh, here we go. Okay. You are too tired to mine. I'm too tired to even walk. I'm at crawl speed. But we got our first piece of cassiterite, which we can then theoretically smelt into tin. And that is our first step on the path to hard metal. Because if we get tin and we get copper, we can make bronze. That will allow us to make a proper ore smelter, which can then be used for iron. So that's basically the tech path for that. Do I want to just kind of stick this somewhere? Let's just kind of stick that over there, just for the sake of keeping that separate from the lead. And let's see, what do I need in order to make the item I am thinking of, which should be there. And then is it... It's not packs and sacks. It's not hook, line, and sinker. Is it tools? Ooh, although, being able to make a frying pan, that takes... Must have seen bar of any common metal, casting material, to metal. And it looks like it's 15 casting material. Casting material is either clay or sand. Casting time 1 day. Interesting. I've never actually made this before, but I do know that it's like, yeah, you get a little thing here that's the like mold for the pan, and then you somehow... I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to look that up because I do want a frying pan. Frying pans are very useful. Oh, Tinker's throwing axe. Mining strength 50% plus 50% strength. So that is an option, and that's also castable. So we might want to do that too. Interesting. All right. I was looking for... Oh, there's a Tinker shovel as well. Where is the thing I am looking for? That's purses. No. It should be here somewhere. Vessels and liquid. Ah, there we go. Water flask. 1 leather and a string. That is all it takes. We've got a spare leather. Beautiful. I just need something that counts as string. And hey, I have some additional hemp fibers over here. Oh, there we go. We'll grab 1. And we should be able to make ourselves a water flask. Craft that on up. hey, 22 quality water flask. Not that the quality matters too much on that, but we can take our old, how do you pronounce that? Cooksa? Phew, that was a sneeze. We can take our old cup here, basically, and stick it onto the table, and it will give us a little bit of a bonus. As you can see, it is worth 1.6% hunger reduction and 0.2% food event bonus. So it's not going to waste. It will end up being destroyed eventually because you do get wear. But instead of the old 0.8 that we get in that, we get 2.0 in this. So that is a lot more water. And I believe I can actually take this and put it in one of my pocket, slots. So that kind of frees up the inventory space. Now I do end up having to open this if I want to, drink when it's unprompted, or if I need to check and see what the water level in it is. But it frees up the whole an entire inventory slot, which can mean quite a bit. All right, let's take a quick peek at this. That's going. I'm probably going to get some more ore smelted in the interim. I'm going to continue propagating my crops. And I think that is just about it. I'm going to look up information on the casting. I think I know how to do it, but I want to make sure, because the last thing you want to do in this game is waste any metal. So hopefully that means that between that and continuing to level up... Oh, actually, let's take a quick peek here. I think it's called... Yeah, there's tunneling. This tunneling effect... Better ores when mining, so it'll increase the quality of the ores you find. Might be worth getting, but that's 6,000. As it is, as I increase my masonry, if I can get my masonry up to 42, then it will match the clay. I will replace the kiln with a quality 42 kiln, and then smelt bricks, which unfortunately our fuel is going to be a bit lower, so it'll go down some, but I can then make the bricks, and then I can make an oven with those bricks. We'll probably end up with an oven somewhere in the 30 qualities out of all of it, but all of that hinges on getting that 42 quality kiln. But that is going to do it for this episode. So, until next time, have a good one.